Our next speaker is Dr. Aaron Ottinger, and Aaron is going to talk to us about the digital divide and the ecological crises, the case of the iPhone. So Aaron, it's all yours.
Thank you, and thank you to our organizers, Dr. Thompson and Yolanda Cedars. Thanks for having me. Everyone, this is a talk about a class I'm teaching currently in the Department of Digital Technology and Cultures. The course is on digital technology and ecology. And just to give you a little bit of context, we spend the first module kind of situating digital technology and ecology in the past, beginning with the transatlantic slave trade. And in the final module, we actually look forward and students design multimedial and multi-species media for a sustainable future. In the middle of the course, we're really focused on the present. And one of our case studies is the iPhone. And so this is kind of separated into 4 weeks where we start with extraction, the exploitation of labor and raw resources, moving into manufacture. Some of you may remember 2010, 2011, the suicides that occurred at the Foxconn factories. And then in the third week, oh, I just lost my control over my PowerPoint. There we go. In the third week, we turn the tables and look at our own use of smartphones and the kind of naturalization of smartphones. So we almost don't see the difference between the smartphone and our body. And as Andy Clark would say, we're actually extending the mind to our digital devices. In the last week of the second module, we turn to the cloud. I think a lot of times there's this conception that the cloud is greener, and that may be the case, but we forget that the cloud is still very much tied to the planet. And that's a big part of what this class is all about, is making sure that we appreciate how our digital technology is in fact still part of the earth. One of the lessons that I use to help students literally illustrate these takeaways is called mapping the iPhone. And we use this this platform, Padlet, which we have a license through Seattle University to use. And it offers things like timelines, galleries for posting pictures, but it also offers this mapping platform. It's powered by Google, but what's different is, well, I'll just show you. Students can post links to articles that they find, and these articles largely track the iPhone around the globe. So in this case, in this example, we see a student has found an article about how the iPhone is being manufactured in India. And so those manufacturing jobs are actually being transferred from China to India. The student can summarize the main points of the article that they found. They can comment on it. And most importantly, I think this is what really separates this software from just plain old Google Maps, is you're able to draw lines that connect your geographical points, and then the students can clarify what those connections are all about by adding a label. So you see the black little label in there that says work is moving out of China to keep profits up. And so ultimately, students create a global network that ranges from buying your iPhone at the Mac store down the street in Seattle, to mines in the cobalt, to manufacturing in India and China, as well as what's really revealing, finding out who owns some of these sites. So it's surprising for students, I think, when they find out that mines in the Democratic Republic of the Congo aren't necessarily owned by people in the Congo, right? Another great feature of this software, mapping software, is the comments section. So students can actually comment on their classmates' posts, asking questions, adding observations. But I think most importantly, this gives students an opportunity to really open up about their own personal connections to these places. We have to remember that Seattle University attracts an international population. A lot of times students are either from the places featured in this map, or they still have friends or family back at these locations. The two major takeaways from the mapping exercise is that it demonstrates that every iPhone is part of a global network, that exploits bodies and ecosystems. And I think that's extremely important, especially when a company like Apple advertises the iPhone as if it is in a vacuum or outside of any context. A lot of times the advertisements are just images of the iPhone in like with a black screen and lights are shining on it and it just looks slick. But that creates the illusion that somehow it's separated from the planet. Also, while putting an iPhone or a laptop into the hands of every child is great PR, closing the digital divide in this way still leaves deeper and more dangerous digital divides wide open. And I think this mapping exercise illustrates that. Why mapping matters? It provides evidence for what I call a global eco-digital divide. So with the pandemic, a lot of us are talking about digital divides again. My claim is that you can't separate the digital divide from ecological crises. The map also supports this claim, supports the claim that at the heart of this eco-digital divide is capitalism and systemic racism. And we see that illustrated by the fact that a lot of the sites students are mapping are in the global south. So those are the areas that are being exploited. And so last, through mapping, we may recognize that to address digital divides abroad, first, we really need to address settler colonialist tendencies at home. Thank you very much.